Howdy. So I just got called out to this 2008 Volkswagen Beetle, and I was called out for the key not working. They said it come up with key not programmed error messages. Now, when I first got here, I put the key in, I turned the key on, dash lit up. I checked for a security light. There was no security light. So I went ahead and I tried to crank it, and I cranked it up. Everything worked perfect. It looked like there was no problem at all. Then all of a sudden, the instrument cluster cut off. So I turned the key off, waited a little bit, and I tried to start it. And it started again, even with the cluster off. So I'm going to demonstrate. All right, so I have it started. I have it running. I don't know if you can hear it, but we can see that there's nothing happening with the cluster. Now I'm going to turn the engine off. Okay, and there we go. That's the cluster beeping. So something is wrong with the instrument cluster of this car. Now, this is a convertible, so I suspect that there is liquid damage, maybe from humidity or whatever, that has attacked this, PCB of this cluster here. So let's pull it out and take a look at that. Now, these clusters are really easy to get out. All you have to do is pull this little piece like this, and then there are these Torx screws. I can't remember what they are. I have a T20 right now. It seems to fit perfect, but I swore I thought they were T15. But this T20 is fitting perfectly, so I guess it's a T20. Now, you have to be very careful because these little plastic brackets here are very fragile. This cluster in general, all the Beetle clusters are extremely fragile for some reason. So once you have those out, you just go ahead and give it a little bit of a pull. Be careful, do not hit these because they will break right off. And then behind it here, we have, see, my thumb hit right here and it just crumbled right up. We have a typical Volkswagen connector. So I'm going to put my phone down and disconnect this so I don't break anything else. And then I'll probably take this back to my workshop. All right, so I've got the Beetle cluster back here at my desk, and already I can see that the screws are rusted. So it's likely that it is water damage inside like I was thinking. But let's go ahead and get it open and take a look. So got it open here, and actually I do not see any liquid damage at all. On the PCB, but I do see like the metal here is very oxidized. So I'm really surprised I don't see anything here. I guess I have to take it out, maybe check the other side because I mean there's so many signs of, water damage. I even see down in the screw holes there's rust from where the screw was in there. That's something. Okay, so let's finish disassembling it here. So we need to take the cover off here, which this will probably break when I take it off. Let's see if we can prevent that. Really doesn't feel like it. Let's try this side. Okay, I think we were able to get it there. Okay, so if we look at the needles here, we can see that the needles are just a hair below the 0 mark, except for the speedometer. So we'll need to remember that when we put it back. And Now, I don't think I've ever taken one of these apart from from the front like this. I mean, I've always taken the backs off. I don't think I've ever had to take one all the way completely off. Shouldn't be anything else except now maybe this display. You know, it may just be the display bad because that's the metal that's corroded. Okay, so, you know, somebody has opened this before because there's all kind of scratch marks here. I don't know if I can get the camera to pick it up. If you look there, there's all kind of scratch marks where somebody had something digging at it to pry it out. And I tell you, a lot of times people will open them, and what they'll do is they'll fill in these holes with some silicone or some black paper or something, trying to hide the lights. Don't see that happen here. Actually, you know what? I do. I do see where somebody's damaged it, and they've removed the LED from this one. Which, let's see what this one is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they've removed the airbag light. Now, I think maybe what's happening is it was just a display cutting off because the cluster was working good. And I do see signs of a little bit of water damage, just, getting into the solder mask there, but I don't see anything that should cause trouble. But I'm going to clean these a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to clean the zebra strip on the display. I don't want to hit those too hard because they look like they're some type of carbon. Now, do we put this LED back or do we leave it off? That is the question, because I have no idea who took it off, and they did not say anything about fixing the airbag system. And that might be they get the cluster back and then I fix the airbag system. They might not be too happy about that with the light coming back on, but I will probably go ahead and fix it. All right, so I want to check the processor here. Oh, sorry, let me get this to focus for you. Get it to focus for me first, and then I'll focus. Yeah, there we go. That should be good. Don't really see nothing there. Now you can see right there the little bit of liquid damage signs. Really not as bad as I was expecting. I don't think there's any other problem here. I think it's just going to be these connectors for the on the odometer display there. See, this is the broken airbag light. They probably didn't even take the cluster fully apart. They probably just was prying it and digging in there to bust that light off. Let's go ahead and put a light back there. I imagine this red is going to be slightly different, but I doubt you'll be able to tell much through the filter from the cover. Okay, I have that the same way. Yep. Why does this one look bad? I guess that one looks like that too. Oh, there's the wall. I couldn't see the bonding wire there. But I see it now. Okay, gonna drop a little flux there. This is the Kester 951. That's why it is so clean there. Solder I'm using is Rel 22, so lead free. And they say it's designed for automotive stuff. It's pretty nice. I've been using it for quite a while now. It's probably good. Okay, so one more thing I'm gonna do is just clean the zebra strips here. This thing is very old. Look at that. That's, I guess, from the heat. Dis discoloring the plastic there, and I guess that's why it's so brittle. The thing must always overheat. Yeah, that zebra strip was super dirty. That's probably the problem with the display. There's some broken bits. Alright, so let's put it back together. Okay, gotta pull these little metal tabs back. I'm not able to push them very well. Okay. So you want to pull it, and then you want to fold it down. Do the same thing here at the bottom. Don't have much room to grab it. Not sure I got that one on. Okay, there we go. Because this damn motor is in the way, let's take it off of there. Okay. Now we can put that back. Okay, there we go on that. We will put the needles back. Okay, and I'm going to start over here so that I can push it this way, and it wasn't enough. Let's pull it back up. Let's start all the way like this. There we go. See there, I hit. Now I'm going to set it right at 0. Put these little guys back on. Are they the same size? No. This one's a little bit bigger. Okay, I'm going to go just a little bit below. Same thing over here. I'll go just a little bit below. I think that should do it. So now I have to pull up the pin out for this. I do want to try it to power it up before I take it back, just to see if it's working. I'm pretty sure it will be. But let me pause this and find the pinout information. Okay, so I found a PDF here for 2005 Beetle. It should be the same. Now, if I remember correctly, the power is on the blue connector. Okay, yep, so there's our first one. Let's mark this down. So we got that run and ground. It's going to be pin 1, pin 7, and we have another ground. And then we have our power at 23. I'm sorry, this isn't there. And that should be all we need to power it up. Alright, so last night I had worked on this a little bit more that I didn't film. But basically, I had put it back together. That's where the video just left off. And I was looking for the pinout. So the pinout did work for it, but still nothing was happening. It wasn't coming on. It wasn't doing anything. So I pulled the zebra strips off of the display. They were glued on, but I still pulled them off. I cleaned it and I put them back, and then I put everything back and reconnected it to test it again, and everything was working good. All the lights, the display, everything working perfect. So I'm not sure if just me messing with something caused it to start working, or if it was the zebra strips. But I don't feel like it would have been the zebra strips because I don't think that would have shut down everything. But anyway, as I was messing with it and it powered it up, I burnt my finger on some resistors right here. Now these resistors, there's 3 groups that are in parallel here. Let me turn the scope on so you can see a little better. Okay, so these 3 resistors here are 3 groups of them. We have these 620 and 620 you see there in parallel. We have the 820 in parallel, and then we have another 620 in parallel. And I think it was these ones getting hot. So what I wanted to do, since I felt them hot, was check and make sure one of them wasn't bad. Because usually when you have, you know, uh, small value resistors like that in parallel and they're getting really hot, that means one of them is usually bad. Let me turn the meter on here. Okay. So I was checking this one, and we have 300-ish, 310-ish, which is correct. That is what that is supposed to be. Okay, then I come here, I check this one, and again, we have 310-ish, which is correct. I know this is 620, this is 620, but when resistors are in parallel, they kind of cut in half. And then I come here and I check this one, right? And we have 817, which since these are in parallel, it shouldn't be 817. It should be, um, half of that. So, 410, something like that. So then I come here, I check like this, and that's about right from trace to trace, just, not even 1 ohm of resistance. And then I come here and I check this one. And look at that. This not making, there's 1,000 or 1.6K resistance between this point and this point, and it shouldn't be because you see the trace goes right through them, right? So if we look in close, here we see just a ton of oxidation. What I didn't see before, because remember, I first checked this for liquid damage. And I was like, man, I don't see any. So, other than the rust in the screws and on the display, I mean, that was pretty rusty. So it definitely looked like it had liquid damage. I'm guessing what's happened is it had liquid damage and somebody cleaned it, because this is you can just see. I don't know how well the microscope picks up for the camera, but for my eye, I can see really well. Like you can see a little white powdery stuff. That's oxidation from the resistor. So I don't think the resistor is bad. I think it's just the connection is bad. So I'm gonna flux all this, right? I'm gonna flux it, and I'm gonna resolder it, and that should fix the problem of them overheating. So I think the whole time the problem was just this resistor, and I think they were getting, overheated, and then they would shut down, or either the voltage just wasn't going through right, so it was shutting down. I might have to remove it. I'm gonna see how bad this is after I do it. Yeah, this is pretty bad. See, like this might even have to be replaced. So if you look at this pad right here, because that come off, so that wasn't even touching at all. Let me try to get this guy off of here. Find my little tweezers. So I haven't really done, I just kind of got up this morning, had been thinking about this from messing with it last night. Okay, so the resistor side is fine. It's just this pad that's oxidized. So we can recover it by just the flux and, the solder here. So that's actually pretty good now. That's pretty decently recovered. Let's do the same thing with this side. See if we can't kind of just move it off of here. So it wasn't bad enough to where we have to replace the resistor or the pads themselves, but it was bad enough to cause problems. So this one's not doing too good here. Maybe this is the one that was the problem. I want to clean this up a little bit. All right. Let's scrape it a little bit. Looks like it's gonna come back. I'm gonna scrape these two. These two were working, but I'm gonna scrape them and resolder. Just this whole group here. And then I'm gonna very carefully look around the whole thing with the microscope to see if there's any more sections like this. I imagine not. I think most of the damage was just in this general area, but just in case. Alright, so let me flux that again, because whenever you have oxidation like that, you need a good amount of flux. Okay, resistor's looking good. Let's see, let's go ahead and see, this one wasn't touching good either. You see how I just kind of barely did that and it broke apart? So you know what? I'm just going to take all of these resistors off and just clean up everything before I break something. Because those resistors halfway on the pads like that, it's really easy to damage the resistor or, or rip the pad off. And I really don't feel like digging through my stuff to find these values and sizes. You see, this pad is even coming off. This pad's not connected to anything though, other than here. So if you had to, you could just stack them on top of each other, but or just solder bridge between them. It's not a big deal. But we'll try not to do that. All right, I think that's gonna be good enough. I'm just gonna clean it up. I'm just gonna clean it up with some wick here, because then that will make it easier to put them back down. And it also helps clean them even more. Gets the old bad you know, solder off. I didn't think I was going to have to do all this, but I thought it was just this one that was bad. That's why it's best just to go ahead and the whole area, not try to be lazy. Actually just remove everything and get it clean. These other two I'll probably have to remove too. The other 620s. But let me take care of this first before I, mess something up worse. Okay. The last night before I got messing with it more, I was like, man, let me just get a replacement. So I bought a daggum replacement, and now this one's fixed. So now I'm going to be stuck with a replacement unit that I don't need. I do that quite often. When I have something I'm working on that I'm not sure about, so my customers won't have to wait extra long, I'll pick up replacements just in case. But sad thing is, I usually always get stuff fixed anyway. It's like ordering the replacement takes the pressure off, and then my brain works better. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what goes on. This one was just kind of lucky that I felt it burning, because I never would have noticed that water damage on my own. Because I just, I didn't think about zooming in that close, checking every little thing. I mean, I did zoom in and gave it quick once over. It's just I didn't see anything other than the rust. I just didn't think it was still there. I'm trying to get the solder a little bit thick. I know it looks bad, but I want it to really come around the whole resistor since the resistor was kind of oxidized too. Just want to make sure it has really good connections all the way around it. It looks bad, but it will function better like this. I don't typically like when things look bad like this. I like them to look really good and kind of like factory, but in this case, since it's water damage, I really don't want to spend more time than necessary there because then you're going to end up losing the resistor or losing the pad for it. You see how the solder is not sticking very well? That's because of the oxidation. So I might end up replacing these, but let me for now just see if this is going to fix the problems. Because as long as it fixes the problems, I know it's worth taking the time and doing right. Okay. So I'm probably just gonna settle with that. That looks pretty good now. Looks better. So I've got it hooked up and here everything is working. So I'm gonna put everything back together and put it back in the car and see how things go. But I think it's pretty much fixed now. Good to go. All right, so I'm back here at the car, and we are gonna throw this in real quick. Yeah, I see that the convertible top is leaking. Let me, let me get this cluster in. So I'm gonna pause this for a second. I'm gonna install this cluster here, and then we're gonna see what happens. All right, so the cluster is in. Let's get the key in. Let's see if everything comes on. It did indeed. Don't see any immobilizer light. Go ahead and get it started. Let me roll this window up. All right, so I am actually done with this job, I believe. I think everything went very good. I'm going to let this run for a while, charge the battery, and just got to put the screws back here And I see, I see the airbag light is on there from where we fixed it. That's probably why they had it blacked out. But you know, that's not my the way I do things. I don't typically leave shady stuff like that. But yeah, I think that this job is complete. I'm not real sure what the message they got for the immobilizer was. I'm guessing the cluster was just shut down, so that it didn't come on and read the key. Maybe the battery was too low in the car or something. But yeah, let me get my torque screw, and this is done.